bundle of fun. £6.5 for this. £6.5. Hey up! Talk about bang for your bucks. And the thing is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. This here brand new Royal Enfield Interceptor Chrome Mark II. £6.5. £6.5. Brand spanking new. What a carry on, he said, finding a false neutral. I'm told that happens occasionally on these bikes until the gearbox is proper running. Or it's probably due to my complete lack of talent or lack of familiarity with this bike, because it's my first ride out on it, and I'm just out for a little ride, just to squires for a bit of breakfast with my mate Chris, who's behind. And obviously I'm taking it steady because we're in running period. Now then, first service on this is 300 mile. So it'll not be long before I have to do a bit of spannering myself, and that will include adjusting the valve clearances, and I don't know if I can bother being arsed. I've got all the gear to do it with, feeler gauges and torque wrenches and all that. I just don't know if I can be arsed or if I dare, because well, you've got to take the tank off, really. Got to take that beautiful chrome tank off, and 5 connectors underneath. But anyway, that's for a couple of weeks time. But what an absolute bundle of fun and joy this is. He said, having done no more than 20 mile on it now. I don't know why I've waited so long to get my hands on one of these. I mean, obviously I've still got the BMW R1250 RT. I mean, that's a proper touring bike, and it has its purpose. But for sheer fun and bang for your bucks, both in terms of the cost of the bike and indeed the frugality of this 648cc parallel twin engine, around 80 miles per gallon. 80 miles per gallon. The R1250 RT does about 58 to the gallon. I thought that were good. 80 to the gallon. Woohoo! And to those people that I've heard say, and I have heard it said, that modern classic motorcycles are an exercise in style over substance, you can go bollocks, because they are an exercise in style accompanied by substance aplenty. Let me tell you, even in its running in period, and I'm keeping below 4,000 RPM, I can tell that this is a very lively, torquey engine. I'm here chugging along at 30 mile an hour in 4th gear. There's a lot of Rolls Royce Silver Shadows out, and sweet as a nut. Beautiful. And I had to have the chrome one. There's lots of colours. There's like that Baker Express colour, there's a metallic red, there's the burnt orange, there's like a baby blue type colour, there's a black one, there's a black and red one. But I just saw this chrome one and I thought, wow. So I got this bike from Wigan Motorcycles, which is part of the Moto GB group. Now, I've heard a lot of belly aching about Moto GB and standards of customer service and whatever. Well, let me tell you, this is second bike I've had from that group. My Kawasaki Z1000 SX that I bought in 2019 from brand new. That came from Preston Superbikes, I think it was, or Preston Motorcycles, part of the Moto GB group. And this came from Wigan Motorcycles, part of the Moto GB group. Look, see it, look there, another Silver Shadow Mark II, beautiful. And I've absolutely found them bang on. In fact, when I rang up Wigan Motorcycles to inquire about the lead time, the availability of these bikes, because I've heard some stories that people are having to wait months to get their hands on one. He says, I'll ring you back in 5 minutes. But he remembered me from 3 years ago buying that Kawasaki. So calling at Wigan Motorcycles, yeah, top do. And I got this in just over a week. So, you know, whatever issues people might have with a big conglomerate like Moto GB, if you want your bike in short order, Bentley Arnage, if you want your bike in short order, get on there. Because I've had a very positive experience with them on both occasions, it has to be said. So yeah, I absolutely love it to bits. Handles well, looks fabulous, takes me back to the heady days when my dad were riding motorcycles, and he were riding motorcycles, blimey, back in 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And of course my recollection is from the 60s as a little boy with his motorbikes. And he had all the classic English marks. You know, he had a James, he had a BSA, he had an Ariel Square 4. And I'm sure he had a Royal Enfield at one point. I've no doubt it would have been a Bullet. But this bike represents an order of magnitude forward in terms of development and evolution over and above bikes like the Bullet. Tell you what, there's no shortage of money, is there, kicking about, even in these constrained times. That must be bloody 20th Rolls Royce I've seen. Lucky bastards. Look at that old bugger there. Way, the car I meant, not the driver. Couldn't see driver. Might have been a coffin dodger, I don't know. But just riding through these quintessentially English roads in the middle of Yorkshire, you can almost feel yourself those many decades back in time. You know, of course, because in the post-Second World War era, I'm a bell end, I should have gone to the other side of that. Yeah, after the war, well not immediately after, when we got to sort of 50s and the economy was recovering, and the likes of Triumph and Norton and BSA, they were enjoying the halcyon days of British motorcycling before Japs came along in 70s and pissed all over us. And I know they're made in India. I don't give a monkey's where they're made, these. So they're made in India, so what? Triumphs are made in Taiwan. Sorry, Taiwan. Talking bollocks again. Thailand. Triumphs are made in Thailand. They're not made in Hinckley. I think a handful are made in Hinckley, like the Triumph Rocket, I think is made in Hinckley, or certainly the TFC models are. But you see, Triumph equivalent of this, probably something like the Triumph Street Twin, or now called the Speed Twin 900. Well, what are they? 11 grand, something like that, and this is only 6.5, so just about half the cost. And I can absolutely guarantee you, not half the fun. Maybe even more fun. So I am absolutely delighted. Now the only thing I've done with this so far is what I always do on a bike before I ever ride it for the first time, and that is put some form of engine protection on, drop protection. So like on racing bikes you'll put bobbins on, won't you? But on this I've put, I don't know if you can see them down there, I've put some chrome engine protection bars from Hitchcock's, and I'll post a video up showing how to fit them in due course. Reasonably straightforward, bit faffy but reasonably straightforward. And I've bought again from Hitchcock's an Enfield Precision stainless steel, excuse me, oil cooler guard, because the OEM one looks like it's being made by a 3-year-old out of plasticine. That's probably a little bit unfair, but this stainless steel one looks a lot more, shall we say, durable. So where are you going? Right, have you noticed with petrol, apparently now, right, get this, just process this, apparently now the wholesale price of fuel, so that's what your fuel stations, filling stations, what they will pay for fuel from the refinery, is back to what it was in May. Right, back to where it was in May. So fuel should now be around about £1.50 per litre, and if you take into account the government's reduction in duty by 5p 2 or 3 months ago, it should be below that. Well, is it buggery? It's still 170, 180, and normally you would have been able to rely upon the supermarket chains, you know, the big ones, Morrison's, Asda, Tesco, Sainsbury's. You would have been able to rely upon them to have the cheapest fuel. No longer the case, and I wondered why that was. And would you believe the reason is, it would appear that a lot of them have been taken over by other conglomerates, like big hedge funds. Morrison's were taken over, weren't it, by some big American hedge fund, and so now the emphasis is gone right off the customer. Absolute cracking bit of kit, way more fun to ride than that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love that BMW R1250 RT. Went down to Richie Vida's Wild Bad Weekend on it, and you know, I got everything on it. You couldn't go down there with this and carry what I carried on that bike, so horses for courses. But this is much more fun to ride, much more simple, much more organic, more elemental. You feel like you're actually engaged with the environment. It's a very engaging motorcycle. It's visceral. How many more superlatives can I think of? It just puts a smile on your face. Hey. Yeah, she's a beauty. And don't be any of you walkie walks out there saying I shouldn't be calling her a she. Bikes are she's. And if you don't like it, bollocks. Listen to that engine, and that's with OEM exhausts. I hope you can hear it, because I haven't got any cameras mounted on the bike yet. Another roller coming up here. 6.5 grand, £6,538. I should imagine if you wanted to get it on PCP. I don't, I like to own my bikes. Call me old-fashioned. But I do appreciate that not everybody's in a position to just go and buy a bike for cash. But I don't like PCP. But I do appreciate it's perhaps the only option for some people. At the end of the day, you don't end up with your bike unless you're going to make that balloon payment. So at some point...
Up again, Dave.
You what?
Your arm.
No?
Oh.
No, it's fine. I don't know why Chris thinks there's something wrong with my arm. It's probably because I've been gesticulating while I'm commentating. What's he doing now? Does he want to make a compass? No, I'm just going to sit back at 50ish and... Normally I'm whipping through here at slightly naughty speeds on BMW, and this bike will do it. Make no mistake, this bike when running will do well over 100 mile an hour. But it's a bike really that encourages you to enjoy the bimbling aspects of a Sunday ride out. I think Chris is doing it for my benefit, because he's perfectly capable of riding like a bat out of hell when he puts his mind to it. So I think he's just mindful of the fact that I'm still running in. Anyways, on a BMW F800 GT. Now we're coming into Sherburn here. You've got to be careful, because this is 60 here, but a lot of times these 30s here are obscured by trees. At first building you come to on the left, after you've gone blasting through them 30s at bloody 50-60 mile an hour, it's cop shop. There. So if you ever come into Sherburn from Tadcaster direction, just have your wits about you. I think one thing that might have to be changed, and I think it's something that most people change, is this seat. Because I can imagine after a protracted ride, say 2 or 3 hours, that it would get get your arse into a bit of trouble. My dad used to say, because he was a pedal cyclist as well with my old man, and a motorcyclist, and he used to say, oh, you can toughen your arse up by soaking it in methylated spirits. He wasn't having me on either. It's no, it's an old cyclist trick, lad. Soak your arse in methylated spirits and it toughens it up and you don't get arse-ache. Bloody hell, he was a smoker as well, my dad. I hope he didn't light a cig up just after he'd soaked his arse in meth. Anyway, if you want to try that, and it don't work and you end up in A&E, don't be suing me. There's some sort of meeting at Squires this weekend according to the website. I think it's some sort of group or charity that deal with upper body injuries, from what I can gather. So whilst that will undoubtedly be a worthy cause for motorcyclists, I can't see it being a reason for the place being significantly busier. But we're talking to the guy in the shop at Squires, which I think is about to close. I think it's going out of business, which is a shame. But he was saying the number of motorcycles at what were previously peak times, like your Wednesday nights and your Sundays and whatever, it says it's gone down significantly. And this of course is the cost of living crisis, isn't it? And it's hitting everybody, and I suppose unless a motorcycle is your chosen method of commuting to work, which can be a bit awkward through some of the winter months, then having a bike on the side for Sunday rides, I suppose, is a bit of a luxury. I mean, I'm lucky. I mean, I retired at 51 from the cops at a sort of fairly senior level. So, and I was probably one of the last cohorts of the coppers to get the really good pension. And folk mentioned that, it's alright for you retiring at 51 and a right good pension and one thing and another, paid your mortgage off. We only get back what we pay in. Coppers pay an eye-watering pension contribution out of the salary every month. And after doing that for 30 years, I don't make an apology. But for my biking exploits, whenever I've changed bikes or got new bikes, which has been fairly frequently of late, I've always funded it by going back to work. I pretty much don't pay for anything motorcycle wise unless I've found a job, gone back to work for a bit, saved some money up and gone and bought whatever it is. But sadly, and I don't know why, some people seem to want to have a go about stuff like that. But I'd just like to put on the record the fact that we're getting back what we paid in over those many years. How the government choose to fund that process going forward's a matter for them, of course. Right, here we are at Squires. Thank you for watching. It looks fairly busy. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please click a subscribe and a like. I'm getting close to that magical 1,000 subscriber mark now, and it'd be really good to get there. It would. And anyway, yeah, so thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my rambling nonsense. And yeah, God bless you, take care, be kind, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.